All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to use the databases. This isn't required. You do have to do research in a sense that you have to find a fourth source, and that fourth source needs to be a piece of literature or a song or a movie or a piece of art, something that you can use for analysis for your paper in regards to whatever characteristics you decide define us as human beings. But one of the things that some of you may want to do or may want to consider is finding a scholarly article that just supports your thinking and your ideas and what you want to do with your paper. So I'm going to show you how to do that just in case you don't know how to use the databases. I know this is a lower level class, so none of you or some of you may not have experienced that. Okay, so first thing you need to do is go to this quick links, and you are going to scroll down. My picture may be in the way of this, so in case it is, you're going to pick John F. Moss Library, okay? And then you're going to go to the library, and in the library you will see this. And this is pretty basic search engine. It searches all of their databases and scholarly articles to see what they have that you guys could use. And of course, the obvious thing is to type in Frankenstein, because that's going to be one of your pieces, right? And let's just say being human. Now, as you can tell, this brings up a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is not even connected to what you might be looking for. So what I'm going to go through, and I'm going to talk to you about several things that you can do to help make your search for a scholarly article better. For starters, you need to be as specific as possible. So yes, searching for Frankenstein stuff is good, but you want to be more specific with it. For instance, just saying a basic generic phrase like being human or the ability or characteristics of being human, that's going to bring back just a whole plethora of things, and you're going to have to go through all of it and decipher and all that kind of stuff. Also, I would recommend staying away from books, not because they're not great sources, they are, but if you're just now looking for an article for that fourth piece, I mean, a book is a lot to go through. Even if you're just looking through a specific chapter of that book, it is a lot to read and decipher through for what you're looking for. So I would definitely recommend sticking with short articles, periodicals, journal, articles, that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do here is, one, I'm going to put it in quotation marks. These quotation marks tell the search engine to look for specifically this phrase. So I might do something like creation, because maybe I picked the idea that our ability to create is what makes us human. Now, once again, very first thing that it brought up is books, and I want to avoid those. So I'm going to start going through and looking and seeing what I can find. Of course, here's Cliff Notes. Those are never necessarily bad, but not really what I'm looking for. So I'm not really finding a whole lot, which, in all honesty, in my experience, okay, with the search engine, oh, this looks kind of cool. Global Frankenstein. Oh, this could be cool. Consisting of 16 original essays by experts in the field, including leading and lesser-known international scholars. I might actually view this. Obviously, I've got to sign in. Sorry, went off on a tangent there for a second. Let me mute that. Okay. All right, so I can download the PDF and go through this book. I'm not going to mess with that at this time. I can scroll down here and see what type of articles I have within the book. I will say you're not going to find an article that is going to tell you exactly what you want to say. Okay, I'm not going to find an article that's going to talk specifically about what I'm talking about, because of the fact that these writers aren't necessarily writing about the same thing you are writing about. So I'm not going to find an article that says specifically the Frankenstein describes what it means to be human, la da 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 da. But I might find something about creation, or here's something about gender, race, the glass prison of science. That sounds kind of cool. Let's see what else we got. Sympathy. Sympathy was one of the characteristics we talked about throughout this semester, and the idea of caring about other people. So there could be something in here that I could use. And essentially, you don't have to use the whole piece. You only have to pull out one aspect of it that you can use to support your writing, and you're in, that's all you need to use that piece. Let's see. I don't really see anything else that I personally would use. Picture books. Beyond the Filthy Form. This one might be cool. Humanism to transhumanism. What was man? That would actually be something that you guys might want to look at. The idea of what was man. So this one could definitely be promising for many of you. I would recommend going in and reading it and seeing what or at least skimming it. It is long. It tells you that it's 16 pages. So you might want to maybe not read wholeheartedly the whole thing. First, see if you could use it, and then go through and read wholeheartedly the whole thing and see if it's something. And of course, if you want to use it, all you have to do is download it. So that's definitely a good find. I would recommend coming back in here and seeing if there's anything that you guys need or want to use. And like I said, that worked out well. It's been my experience, I will say, though, that with this particular search engine, or with any of these search engines really, that I've experienced in different colleges, they used to be called Swoop Search. I forget what it's called now, but they typically don't really pull back a whole lot of stuff that I want. So I'm going to show you another thing that was actually not shown to me until I was a grad student. It's kind of ridiculous because it's pretty simple. Everybody should know it. But it is Google Scholar. So you can't use just Google, okay? If you're Googling stuff, like you're just Googling articles, you're going to get all kinds of articles that are not credible and stuff that you don't need to be using. Like, you don't use Wikipedia. Don't ever cite the dictionary. As a matter of fact, just so you know, it's kind of off topic, but don't use or give me dictionary definitions unless the word is a pretty high level word, which I think I may have told you all this in the student essay. Unless it's a pretty high level word, or maybe a word that needs defining, like the idea of identity. Or what is identity? That might need a definition. But, don't tell me what transcendentalism is. I know that, okay? So that kind of stuff. Be careful when you're using dictionary definitions. I would recommend avoiding them. Anyway, so you go to Google Scholar, and you just simply go into it. And here, this is going to bring up articles that are all scholarly. And the great thing about Google Scholar is that it's just a better search engine. Google is really and truly, it's just a better search engine. And if you use Google Scholar, you're getting stuff that's 100% credible. A lot of them you can actually access on here. So let's say Frankenstein, and let's just do the same thing. I'm spelling it wrong. I'm going to put a plus, and I'm also, oops, not an equal, plus. And I'm also going to put that quotation mark. And I'm going to put, well, I might really and truly, I don't necessarily have to put the quotation mark because it's just one word. Creation. Look, I spelled it wrong. All right. So I'm going to go through here. Notice that like this right here, okay, a paradise of my own creation. So this probably would not be something I'd want to use, but just to show you guys, this I can actually access through Google Scholar. So I can actually go in and read this article right here. I can print it right here. And there might be stuff in here that I want to use. Like I said, you don't have to use the whole article. You just look for bits and pieces of it that would work for you. Like, this clearly gives me a lot of background in regards to the history when the article was written and why I'm assuming this author believes that Mary Shelley, or how she was inspired and why she wrote the novel. Of course, if you know anything about Frankenstein, you know that she actually wrote it because they all not had a dare, but like a bet to write the scariest story. Her and Byron and several others. Anyway, so that's really how Frankenstein came into to being. But this, I'm sure, is talking about the idea of like different things that were occurring historically that inspired her. And there might be, at the very least, something in here that I could use that would help me with my introduction. You know, maybe tell me about the historical time period or tell me about her, that kind of stuff. And so I could go through, because I don't have to use the whole thing. Like, I could use just this one quote where he would probably not undertake his voyage at all. Walton shares the counterintuitive interpretation of contrary evidence with Victor Frankenstein. Like, I wouldn't use this, but I could probably use this one quote. And if with just using this one quote to support my stuff, then I'm using the article, and that would constitute the idea of utilizing it. Like I said, this doesn't really have the stuff that I want in it, but I did want to show it to you in the fact that you can access it directly from Google Scholar. Okay? I gotta go back. Sorry about that. Google Scholar. But you will run across some that you want to get to, but you struggle with getting to them. So I'll show you how to do that as well. And also some other things. Take this article right here, Frankenstein and the Alchemy of Creation and Evolution, right? This article was written in 1977, and that is really too old. You really want your articles to be within the past 20 years to be truly relevant. Now, there are some pieces of literature and some works that are considered like staples or so groundbreaking that it really doesn't matter how old they get, they can always be used. A good example would probably be anything with Freud, Sigmund Freud. I know that's psychology and not literature, but that would be a good example of something that it doesn't really matter how old it is. It's considered a staple and you can use it. But a lot of things you definitely want to watch the age. So be aware of that and how old something is. You could always, like, let's say I just really liked this article. I could come in here and do this cited by, and it brings up other articles that have used that article. So I know, okay, well, maybe these are articles that could also be relevant that cited that article, but maybe a little bit newer, like this one. It's 1983, and it's a little bit newer than that one. The Paradise of Mother Sons, that one could be possible. And it's a little bit newer, 1996. Essentially, you just want to go through, and it's going to take time, but you just want to go through and you want to find something that you're looking for. For instance, here's one about knowledge. What a strange nature is knowledge. So if you were arguing that maybe one of our characteristics was, or of being human, was our ability to reason, maybe you went with that. This article right here could really possibly, very much so, help you with that. And it's a much earlier article. So let's look at this one. We'll see if we can find it. So I go to it because I'm just curious, right? And the very first thing I notice is that I can really only access one page, and that if I try to get it, we might can access it. We'll try to access it through this. So I'm going to try to get it. Still only one page. Let's see. We're going to do get access. And I know what it's going to say, but we'll try. Okay. So what it's wanting me to do is buy it for $50, or in the U.S. for $177 if I do a 30-day purchase. And this is like a subscription. So they'll give me a access to their database for 48 hours for $50, and for 30 days for $177. Do not do this. All of these articles that you find online, you can get for free, okay? The very first thing I want to do is I want to take this article. I'm not going to do necessarily the whole piece, but and I'm going to go back to my search engine and I'm going to see if I can find it. All right, so let's try something else. Hold on. Plus, let's look for the author. SCHOPF. All right, but it's not bringing up anything that I can see. Now, I will say that does not necessarily mean anything. Okay, so the next thing I want to try is I want to see what journal this is coming out of. Romanticism, past and present. So I've got the issue and all that kind of stuff. And I want to go to Texas A&M. If I can find it on my stuff. I'm going to go back to Quick Links and back to the library. And then in the library, I'm actually going to scroll down. And over here, I am going to click Locate Library Resources. I am going to go to Databases. And I'm going to see if I can find this database. What was it again? Well, it's really a journal. Romanticism, Past and Present. Yeah, I was about to say, because this is just a straight journal, I doubt it's going to be there. Let's see if they give me any other information about what database it would be in. Let's try citations. Let's see. Well, my citation didn't pull up. Oh, I've got to subscribe to citations. Okay, so right now I feel like, all right, I'm at a complete loss. I'm not going to be able to find this. Let's try download citation. Maybe I can do that. Okay, here we go. So this tells me, hopefully it'll tell me what database it is in. Sue Weaver, 1988. No, it doesn't. So if worse comes to worse and I just can't find it, one of the things that you have the option to do is to contact the librarian and see if she can get you the article. I can get back. Let's go to Texas A&M. Quick Links, library. Server spot. I'm trying to find it, y'all. It's been a little while since I've done this. All right, maybe it's just get it for me. Okay, it's this interlibrary loan is what you're wanting. So essentially, if you contact the librarian, which trying to find where you go to contact her, y'all. I've done this a million times. I just don't do it often enough. Here we go. So I could chat with, oh, I think I closed it out. I could chat with the librarian and essentially tell her what article I'm looking for. And she can, which I need to sign in, but she could do a deal where she will email you the article. And a lot of times they'll ask you, like, if you'd be willing to pay for the article, how much would you pay for it? I usually give them, like I say, I'll pay $5 for it. I've never had to pay for an article before, ever. And the librarian can be a valuable resource. So it is always good to use her and to talk to her about getting you articles if you need one, especially if you find one, like let's say that you've read this and you just really, really like this article, and you're just all about it. Let's try one more thing. This is Taylor Francis Online. Let's go back to this. We'll try WorldCat, and we'll also try, see, like, need assistance, see database tutorial on how-to guides. You can go to a guide here, remote access, instructions on how to contact for help, okay? There's all kinds of stuff that you have access to if you need all that stuff, okay? But we're going to look and see if there's a database for Taylor Francis. We'll look. I don't think there is. But, oh, there is. Taylor Francis Journals. Let's try this. Okay. So the way I figured that out, just so you know, up here, see where it says Taylor Francis Online? So I just went in and thought, okay, well, maybe it's there. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to find it in here because I'll have access in here. I just want to use the beginning. I don't have to use the whole thing if I can get it to work with me. And notice too, just so you know, a lot of searching for articles it's problem solving. So you get stumped one way and you can't find it one way, try something else. See what else you can do to find it. Don't pay for them. I mean, and you may not be willing or wanting to put in that kind of effort, and you think, I don't want to do all that. And I understand, but every once in a while you'll find a really good article. And in my opinion, I feel like for your fourth source, using an article rather than using another piece of literature to analyze, or another or a poem, or just adding something else to analyze, I feel like using an article will be an easier route. Now that's just me, and I can't guarantee that, but that is, if I was doing this, that is how I would do it. My fourth source would be a scholarly article, and I would use it throughout just to support my ideas. All right, so look, it says that they found one article, and it's that article. So there we go. So I click on it, brings it up, and now all of a sudden this article that I was being asked to pay for, I no longer have to pay for, and I can access it, okay? So trust me, don't pay for these. I guarantee you that the majority of these, Texas A&M Texarkana has access to. They can give you the information on how to use them, and they can help you find them. That's really how you search the databases and go through them. Obviously, you don't have to do creation. You could do sympathy. You could do, reason, or the ability to reason. Keep in mind, the longer your search is, the more stuff you're going to bring up and the more stuff you're going to have to weed through. So I would definitely try to keep it down to those one ideas. And obviously, you don't have to do Frankenstein. You could do, another one of the pieces that you're doing. A Good Man is Hard to Find, or The Most Dangerous Game. You may not find as much stuff out there about The Most Dangerous Game. I don't know. But definitely all the others, probably so. So that's how you search the databases. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I will be more than happy to help. All right, I'll see y'all in the next video.